Welcome to this Brimbank Writers and Readers event. This event is being held on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people, and I wish to acknowledge them as traditional owners and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. The Brimbank Writers and Readers Festival is an annual event that encourages a love of reading, literature and storytelling, and it celebrates creativity and diversity and promotes lifelong learning in Brimbank. Brimbank City Council is delighted to present the online Brimbank Writers and Readers Festival, a partnership between Brimbank Libraries and Bowery Online. I'd also like to extend thanks to key sponsor Victoria University. My name is Imbi Neeme. Victoria Cini is a local writer and an active member of the Brimbank community. She's a full-blown rock chick who has many strings to her bow. She's been working as a teacher's aide, a DJ, a pool shark, an actress, and also as a singer and a keyboardist in a band. She's of Maltese descent and she's a proud woman with a disability. Her debut novel, Unique as Me, was just out in March, just before lockdown. So, Victoria, first thing I want to ask you is for you to tell me about what your book is about in your own words.
The book is about me and my life and my challenges and what I had to go through in life, and it's a personal story.
Yeah. I think it's like part memoir, part poetry, and for me, as an able-bodied person, part lesson. I learnt a lot from reading your book, and I loved hearing your voice so clearly on the page. It felt like, I was getting full Victoria in your book, and it made me want more. So I guess I want to know, how long did it take you to write that?
Well, the whole book took 11 months to write, but the editing process and the publisher took a lot more.
The book, I kind of felt like it was a precious scrapbook, like of all these stories and important things that you wanted to say about your life and about other things. Was it always structured like that when you wrote it during those 11 months? Was it structured like that, or did the editing process restructure it, make it something different?
It was partly structured like that, but partly not, because the editor said to me, why don't we turn this into a poetry thing as well? Because you're writing like a musician and it has crept up on you. So why don't we go part poetry as well? So that's what we did.
And so how did that feel to kind of, did you feel nervous about writing in a different form, or were you excited?
I felt excited, but it was strange at first to write it that way.
Yeah.
I got used to it, and it felt like second nature for me, because I write songs. Songs are just like poems.
Yes, I guess, songs, poems are like songs without music. But, I'm really surprised to hear that, because I thought that you were like naturally a poet. You don't mess around in your book. You say exactly what you think. Were you ever nervous about sort of exposing so much of yourself, or did you feel it was really important for you to say those things?
I felt like the world really needed to hear my voice out there, and I am a brutally honest person. I don't mess around anyway. So what you see, what you read, and what you get.
So Unique as Me was published by Brow Books, and Brow Books are wonderful publishers who are trying to give voice to a whole range of different writers. And so I guess what I'd like to know is, was that the first publisher that you approached, or had you approached other publishers to try and get your work published?
I approached him first.
Great.
And I approached him through a friend of mine who used him before, so she gave me his contact details.
So you didn't have that kind of disappointment of like sending it to other publishers and getting a no. That's good. But it's been a long journey to get to this point of being published. And how does it feel? I mean, we won't talk about the fact that you were published and then the whole world went into lockdown. It was just bad timing. But how does it feel to have the book out in the world?
It's like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I was so relieved. Finally, it's over.
Did they send you a box of books? And
Yeah.
how did it feel to hold it in your hands?
Oh, really good. Really. It's like climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah. And now you can admire the view.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the editing process, so that went for a lot longer than the writing. How did you find it? I mean, you were sort of being pushed outside of your comfort zone and sort of writing poems, but did you enjoy the process?
It was a roller coaster, and it took me by surprise, actually. And I felt like I had to be patient.
Have you had many people reach out to tell you what they've thought of the book? Like how are people receiving it?
I had a lot of good feedbacks and a lot of surprises what they picked up in the book. Like I tell you, the pub scene, and no one ever thought I was a person to be at the pub because I didn't like tape.
So not many people knew that you went to the pub and played pool instead of going
just me and my mum.
You were very much in my face in the book, and that was good because I felt really challenged in a way that I think, I've got able-bodied privilege, and that it really, was a good reminder to me to reassess what I consider to be normal. And one of the lines I really loved in the book was, normal is a newborn baby clinging to its mother's chest in the first 5 minutes of life. It's a beautiful line. And your mum gets quite a few mentions in the book. So I wanted to know 2 questions. The first question is, how did she find the book, reading the book? Was there any surprises in there for her?
No, because she was my strength and moral from day one. So she knows me back to front, inside out, and left to right.
That's beautiful. That's nice. So no nasty shocks for her, except maybe the tattoo. Yes. Has she forgiven you for the tattoo?
Oh, she had no choice.
So I guess the guy who bullied you badly in grade 6, do you think he's read this book?
No, but I want him to, and it would be good if the others read it as well.
Yeah, it'd be very, I think, important for them to understand. So this was the whole class in grade 6. If they had understood what they put you through, I think that would be an important lesson, something for them to know. That was a really hard year for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really hard.
Was that the first year that you had transitioned out of the special school into the mainstream school?
No, actually, it's my second year.
Oh, right. So
the first year was fine. The second year was really awful. I struggled with being accepted. It was not mine, though. It was through struggles of other people. People's egos get in the better of them. People lacking education, judging by the book's cover. Judging is wrong, not your job to do.
So you're also a singer and a keyboardist in a band called the Hacketts. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit more about the band. How long have you been a band?
I've been in it for 28 years, and playing keyboard about 3 to 4 years. But I wasn't in the band as the start. There was some singers, but not me. I was studying still, so I started late that year, late 97.
And how did it feel to sort of sing for the first time in front of an audience?
Good, really good. Really daunting, but really good.
So, what kind of music do you play?
I do my own stuff.
This is good. I think we talked about this before we started recording, and you're your own style of music. What's the best gig that you have ever played?
Any gig in the reference.
Oh, the Rev.
The Rev. I do miss it because it's called something else and it's under new management, and I do miss it. I do really miss the people.
Because it doesn't have that same kind of vibe. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, when those things pass into history. And the Rev was a really special place for lots of people, I think. So how often would you be there at the Rev?
Every month, just about every month.
Yeah. Well, I hope you find a new venue that will allow you to have that same feeling again.
I hope so too.
So I read an interview that said you dreamed of getting published since you were 6. And in the way that other kids would pretend to have tea parties, you would pretend to have book launches. And I really love that, but it breaks my heart that you didn't get to have your book launch as you'd always dreamed of, and I hope you will get that chance. What would be your ideal book launch?
A room full of people, just because you have to feel special. So a room full of people, I guess.
Yeah, people who are there for you and proud of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hope you get that experience.
I hope so too.
I think all authors, especially for the first time with the first book, it's really important. So I'm going to finish off asking 2 questions. The first one is, what's next for Victoria Cini? You're working on something new?
Yeah, I'm working on my second book, but that's coming very, very slowly.
Is that a combination of like the lockdown and sort of that making it hard to write?
Yep. Yeah. I guess you'll find out in the future.
Which 5 books would you take if you were stranded on a desert island?
I'll say Baby Island, which is an old book. Dare to Be Kind. That the first one that really inspired me to write this book.
That was Lizzie Velasquez?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's American. And Flowers in the Attic. Yes.
That's one of mine.
Isn't it good?
It gripped my imagination when I was 11 when I read it, and my mind just went. Yeah, I still remember so many things from that book and all the sequels. Yeah. Okay, so that's number 3. So number 4.
Well, you need to make.
Yes, of course. So you want to have your own book there to remind you that you're an author.
And number 5, a book about musicians.
Well, I bet you none of them are like you. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you today. So thank you, Victoria Cini, and thank you, Brimbank Writers and Readers Festival for having both of us.
Thank you, Imbi.